Hey everybody! In this video, I'm going to be showcasing some levels from Final Fantasy X that I redesigned in Unreal Engine 5. I'll be covering the software I used and my process for bringing these levels to life. With that being said, let's jump in. So it's been a while since I've done a redesign video, and if you haven't seen my previous game redesigns in Unreal Engine, I'll put a link in the description. I've only done redesign videos for Chrono Trigger, so I wanted to try my hand at another one of my all-time favorite video games. And so I embarked on a quest to redesign Final Fantasy X using Unreal Engine 5. Since Final Fantasy X is a 3D game, I didn't want to have to make all of the models from scratch or only use marketplace assets. Instead, I wanted to try to find a way to bring the models from the game into Unreal Engine. Not knowing if something like this was even possible, I started off by doing some research. I found a couple of different forums that had various solutions for pulling the models from the game. One of the methods was using a Python script that seemed to work well for others. However, I wasn't able to get this to work after several attempts, probably due to my lack of experience with Python. After several days of research and no steps closer to my goal, I came across a YouTuber who was working on recreating the game in Unreal Engine. In order to pull the models from the game, he was using a tool called Ninja Ripper. This tool was not mentioned in the forums that I researched, but ended up being the solution that worked out for me. Shout out to ThatTechGuy on YouTube, who is attempting to recreate the entire game in Unreal Engine and looks to be making great progress. So a little bit about Ninja Ripper. It's a really cool tool that lets you pull entire levels from games with the click of a button. While this tool is very useful, it's far from plug and play. It took me about a week of using it to figure out the most efficient way to bring the models into Unreal Engine. The solution that worked best for me was to import the meshes into Blender, export them as an OBJ file, then re-import that OBJ file back into Blender, and then export that file as an FBX. Once in Unreal Engine, I needed to scale down the models to a size of 0.1 to get them close to their in-game size. The other challenge I faced with using this Ninja Ripper tool was that all of the normals were messed up on the models. If you don't know what the normals are, these are basically the faces of the model that carry the texture and the material data. And when these normals are flipped inside out, those portions of the mesh are basically invisible. But this is where Unreal Engine 5 is super handy with their new modeling tools. I was able to invert the inconsistent normals right in Unreal Engine 5. If I hadn't had this ability, I would have had to manually flip each inconsistent normal in Blender, and that would have taken a long time. I then took some of the textures from the game, scaled them to 4K, and sharpened them a bit using Photoshop. I used the Quixel materials for a lot of the models, as they allow you to swap out some of the textures while still keeping the additional material data. I ended up using some marketplace assets as well in place of some of the more low poly models. In order to get Tidus into the game, I downloaded his character model from a different site and then hired someone on Fiverr to rig it to the Unreal Engine 5 Manny. This model is from the PlayStation 2 version of the game and not the remastered version, but I still think it looks pretty good in Unreal Engine. So far, I've only redesigned the Besaid Village, the temple, and a little bit of the Besaid Island. I also worked on the Macalania Woods, as I love the look of this level. So, without further ado, here's my version of Final Fantasy X in Unreal Engine 5. Okay everybody, thanks for watching. I've included the links in the description to all of the resources I used to bring these levels to life. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments or drop a like on this video. Thanks again, and I'll catch you later.